So we're going to start off by getting some olive oil in a medium pan. Then we're going to start by sauteing off our vegetables. I like to start with the onion and the Brussels sprouts first, because the chicken's not going to take as long. I'm going to fry these up pretty good. We're going to get some good colour going on here. I want them to be almost pan roasted. So this is a recipe that I've been working on for a couple of years now. It's kind of evolved over the years, but really like the sour cream, mustard and the turmeric. It's a really, really good combination. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to help sweat these down and release some moisture. It's going to help with the cooking. So I'm going to hit this with a bit of white wine vinegar. It's going to help deglaze the pan and also help get those Brussels sprouts cooked through properly as well. I'm going to do this before we add our chicken, because the chicken's going to release a lot of nice juices, and we're using skin on chicken thighs too, so they'll have a little bit of fat in them, so they're going to help oil and coat up the pan and release everything nicely too. So we don't have to worry too much about sticking at this point, because everything's going to come together at the end. Alright, this is coming together pretty good, so I'm going to make some room in the middle here for our chicken. That's going to fry off nicely. And as I said, skin on chicken thigh, so it's going to have a bit of fat in there. It's going to help render out and help deglaze this pan. Alright, our chicken's just about cooked through, so I'm going to hit this with a little bit more oil, and then we're going to add our pasta in. The pasta obviously cooked can stick a little bit in the stainless steel, but again, look, it's not too much of a problem. We actually want the pasta to fry up a little bit in this dish, and as I said, it's all going to come together in the end. We're going to deglaze. Almost forgot. Okay, so before we put in our pasta, I'm going to add some garlic in. Get that nicely fried up, but we don't want it to burn, obviously. Got about 4 medium cloves of garlic here. Look, you can do more, you can do less. I like a decent amount of garlic. This isn't meant to be a garlic forward dish, but I don't know, I'm a big fan, so your mileage may vary. Alright, our garlic and everything else is fried up nicely. I'm actually going to go in with a little bit of our turmeric first before the pasta. I know that I said I'd do the pasta next, but you know, these things change as you're going. Kind of cook with feeling, not by a recipe per se. Cooking is about vibing it out. It's an art form, so you know, treat it as such. So I'm going to go in with probably a tablespoon of turmeric. Now, because the pan is a bit dry at the moment, this will form a fond and stick a bit at the bottom, but as I said, that's not going to be a problem. I kind of want the turmeric and all these other flavours in here to toast through a little bit. It's going to really add depth and dimension to this. If you put the turmeric in with our wet ingredients, just uncooked, I find that the flavour doesn't really come through as much. Turmeric is one of those ingredients that really enjoys a nice cook. Similar to things like garam masala and Indian cooking, it really benefits curry paste and, you know, Thai cooking. Really benefits from a bit of a pan fry. So yeah, don't be afraid to pan fry your ingredients in Western style dishes like this, even though it's not technically a stir fry. You can still cook it like one. Alright, everything's looking real good there, so let's go in with our pasta. Now, just incorporate everything through. The pasta is cooked to al dente, so it's very, very slightly chewy still, because it will cook in here for a few minutes with some extra ingredients and a bit of liquid. So It's important that you don't overcook it because you want to be able to finish it off at the end, and you're aiming to get the pasta perfectly cooked through just as this is finished. So we've got some really beautiful colours from that turmeric coming through. Now at this stage I would normally taste it, but I'm actually going to do a bit of a deglaze here. I'm actually going to use a little bit of Worcestershire. Probably 2 teaspoons worth, not quite a tablespoon. So you can see we've got some fond forming at the bottom there, but again, don't worry too much about that. We're going to take care of that in a minute. You can gently scrape this away if you're using a stainless steel pan and something like a metal spatula that I'm using here too. I like to do this because there's a lot of good flavour in there and we don't want it to burn. And you can kind of just scrape it off gently and then reincorporate it through the dish. And at this point I'd probably add a little bit of extra liquid. Alright, so I'm going to add a little bit of water in here just to help deglaze the bottom of that pan. Don't add too much, you can always put more in, but you can't take it out. Normally I would have used pasta water here, but I forgot to save any. I unfortunately tipped it all out and then realised, oh damn, should have kept some of that. Pasta water will help bring the dish together. You've got all that starch in there from the cooking that's really going to help thicken up this sauce. It's not meant to be an overly wet, saucy dish anyway. It's meant to be slightly dry, mainly creamy, which we'll get from our sour cream and a little bit of milk. But yeah, it's definitely not meant to be wet like a bolognese or anything like that. Alright, that's deglazed nicely, that's worked well. So I'm going to go in with our mustard, it is Dijon mustard and sour cream. So we'll just stir that around. It will be a little bit tricky to incorporate it first, but we have a little bit of milk which is going to help finish this off. As soon as I put that in, the smells here are amazing. I can't wait to eat this. Everything I cook on this show is my own dinner, so I will be enjoying this as soon as the camera's off. Alright, so that's starting to come together there, and it's thickening up nicely. There is a lot of residual starch left over in this pasta, because we didn't cook it all the way through. There was a little bit of cooking left to go. We are going to get a little bit more starch out of it still. It's going to help thicken up this sauce and bring it all together. Alright, so as you can see, it's come together pretty good. Still not quite perfect, so I'm going to add a little bit of milk and watch what happens. This little bit of extra liquid is just going to help transform this, and it's going to, how would you describe it? Homogenizes the dish, I guess, is probably the best word that I could think of. It binds all of these different ingredients together. So you'll notice that the sour cream and all of the noodles there are a lot creamier, and there's no sort of separation anymore. It's really brought it all together. So this is just about ready, but as always, you should taste as you go. So I'm going to taste a little bit now. Yep, salt levels are good. Always test as you go for seasoning. I'm going to hit that with a bit of pepper. When I say a bit, I mean a lot. I love pepper. This isn't necessarily a spicy dish, but you could add chili flake to this if you wanted to as well, or even maybe a bit of cayenne pepper, and give it a bit of a kind of spicy Cajun kick on this. In fact, I might actually do that in the future. And there you go. So this is my creamy chicken and Brussels sprout pasta with turmeric, garlic. What else did I put in there? Worcestershire sauce. Great one to make at home, really easy, and great for a winter night. Anyway, thanks guys, and I shall catch you next time. Bye. Tonight I'm making boneless ribeye with roast potato and butternut pumpkin mash. Okay, we're going to start by getting some peanut oil in our hot cast iron. Want it to be hot but not too smoky. And in with our steaks. Get some salt in here as well, some good seasoning. So we're going to sear up our boneless ribeye here. I'm aiming for about a medium rare to perhaps medium. Alright, we've got a good sear going on one side of the steak. So we've flipped our steak over. Now I'm going to actually start basting it with some butter and herbs. I've got two different types of thyme from my garden here. So we want to let all this butter melt down and infuse through with the thyme here. I'm going to start basting this steak. This is going to finish off the cooking process. Actually going to get a little bit of that thyme on top of here as well. Like I said, we're aiming for about medium rare, but I'd be okay with medium here as well. Obviously, cook your steak to how you want it. This is boneless ribeye, so I think it's going to be better if you don't go beyond medium, but you know, do it the way you like it. Okay, so our steak's just about done here. We don't want to burn this butter, but we will be using some of this in the potato as well, I believe. Okay, I think our steak's done here, so we're going to take this off and put it on the side to rest. Okay, our potato and pumpkin have just come out the oven, roasted, and we're going to blend those up and get it nice and creamy. Okay, we're going to blend up our potato and pumpkin together. And we're also going to add a bit of milk to get it a little bit creamy and soft. Okay, so now time to plate up. This mash has come out really beautiful and creamy. I really like adding squash, or what we would call butternut pumpkin, I guess, here in Australia, to my mashed potato. I find it gives it a really pretty, sweet flavour, really nice texture, and obviously a gorgeous colour too. Okay, now to slice up our steak, we want to find the grain, which direction it's going, and cut against the grain. So, I don't know if you can tell, but the grain is going this way, so we're going to want to turn it. And slice it against the grain there. As you can see, we've ended up with a really nice medium here. I let it rest for a couple of more minutes than I probably normally would have. It will continue to cook as it's resting, so always keep that in mind. Take it off a little bit before you think it's going to be ready. Okay, it's time to finish plating up here. So I've got some roasted Brussels sprouts. You guys know that I love that. So I'm going to put some of these on the side here. And we're going to arrange our steak. And there you go, my boneless ribeye with roast potato and butternut pumpkin mash. Hope you guys enjoy. Thanks for watching as always. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you like what I'm cooking, let me know in the comments. And I'm always looking for new ideas. So if you have an idea, let me know. And I will see you next time. Bye. Welcome back, guys. Tonight I'm making my home style rustic pumpkin soup. Okay, we're going to start things off with a little bit of olive oil. Don't need too much because we roasted our veggies off with olive oil. We're just going to quickly fry off our pumpkin and garlic a little bit more. It doesn't need much as it's obviously already been cooked. So we're just going to develop a little bit more flavour, just kind of everything gelling and hanging out nicely together in the pot here. Okay, we're going to add some spices. So I've got a teaspoon of turmeric, teaspoon of MSG, teaspoon of brown sugar, half a teaspoon of nutmeg. So we just want to stir these and get it incorporated. We want to very slightly toast this off just to get it nice and aromatic, but again, we don't really need to cook it very thoroughly. Alright, awesome, it's looking great. So now I'm going to go in with a cup of milk, half a cup of yogurt, and 2 tablespoons of sour cream. So we just want to give this a bit of a stir, and we're going to bring this to a light simmer. We don't want it to boil. I will be adding a bit of water as needed as well, just to get the consistency we want. I always love roasting off my pumpkin when I'm making pumpkin soup. You can do it boiled and you can fry it off in the pan as well, which does work, but I don't know, I feel like there's just some special flavours you get from roasting vegetables that you really can't get any other way. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water here. You can always add more, but you can't take it out, so go easy at first and just see how it goes, and you can always add more as you need. So this is probably not a typical type of pumpkin soup. I really like adding the Greek yogurt and sour cream. I feel like it makes it incredibly rich and delicious. If you've never tried it, give it a go. Alright, this has come up to a nice simmer now, so I'm going to let this probably go for another minute or two, then we're going to blend it and we'll check for seasoning and see how we're going. Now you'll probably notice that I left the pumpkin skin on and the seeds in as well. Look, this is obviously a personal preference, you don't need to do that. I actually really like the flavour that the skin and the seeds actually add. I've roasted this in the oven for almost an hour and a half on a pretty low heat, about 160, until they've gotten really nice and soft and caramelised. You're going to find that you won't even notice that the skin or the seeds are in there once it's blended up. Okay, so now I'm going to go in my immersion blender and just kind of push these down and give them a bit of a blend. It can be a little bit messy. Look, you are going to get a few splashes. The trick is really just sit on top of the pumpkin there and just give it a little blend. Keep pushing down as you go. And it will start to break up into smaller bits, and once that happens you'll find that it'll all come together and it'll blend a lot easier. Now I can already tell that this is going to need some more water, so I'm going to do that now. Just a little bit at a time. Just going to start breaking these bigger bits up into manageable pieces. Then as they get smaller, you'll notice that we can start kind of stirring it around and blending it up properly. So you can see this is still pretty thick, so I'm actually going to need a bit more water. You could add more milk to this as well, or cream. I've already added quite a lot, so I don't want to make it too rich. I don't really want to overpower the pumpkin flavour too much, because we already have some turmeric and nutmeg in there. Which are both kind of powerful earthy flavours as well. We want it to complement pumpkin, not fight it. a little bit more water. So now we just want to kind of pulse this a bit and start kind of getting it smooth. There are still a few chunks in there. I mean, I like a little bit of texture and chunk in my soup. I find that a perfectly blended pumpkin soup can be a little bit boring to me. Look, it's personal preference, but this is how I like to make it. So this is thickening up quite a lot, so I am going to go in with a bit more water. And we'll just keep incorporating this and getting it nice and smooth. Okay, so we've blended up our soup to a consistency that I like. You will notice there are a couple of small chunks of skin in there still. Look, don't worry too much. They're really soft from roasting and they're going to be delicious. We're just going to bring this back to a really gentle simmer. We're also going to check for seasoning, see if we need to add any salt, and I'm also going to add some pepper too. Alright, that is really good. I did season or salt the pumpkin when I was roasting it, so to me that doesn't need anything extra. Obviously you can season your own to taste, but again, we don't want to overpower the pumpkin here. The pumpkin is meant to be the star of the show, that's why it's pumpkin soup, so we just want to really complement it. Now in terms of cream and yogurt levels there as well, that's brought a really rich thick creaminess to it, given a really silky smooth taste but also texture, something that I really enjoy in pumpkin soup. Alright, so obviously you know the best way to serve your pumpkin soup is with some homemade sourdough, so that's what I've got here. Let's go in and have a try. So creamy, the pumpkin, huge flavour here. It's really not in your face but very forward. If you love pumpkin soup, this is one you definitely have to try. Anyway, I'm going to go and have dinner, so thanks for watching guys. If you like my videos, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next. And I will see you next time. Bye! In my restless dreams, I see that apple. I told myself I would eat it one day, but I never did.
York town, met in a foreign land. One sang the praises of Cape Harry and the Strand, London Grand. Softly the other replied, I know a place to his side, and though I roam, it is my home, sweet home, Uncle Sam is right. Take me back to New York town, New York town, New York town. That's where I long to be, with the friends so dear to me. Coney Island down the bay, and the lights of old Broadway. Herald Square, I don't care anywhere, New York town, take me there. Sing of the beautiful ride, say that it beats the band. Just take a trip up old Hudson Bay, ain't it grand, Yankee land. Rave of the sights or the seas, England and old Germany. Give me Broadway where it's gay night and day, that's the place for me. Take me back to New York town, New York town, New York town. There's where I long to be, with the friends so dear to me. Coney Island down the bay, and the lights of old Broadway. Herald Square, I don't care anywhere, New York town, take me there. Take me back to New York town, New York town, New York town. There's where I long to be, with the friends so dear to me. Coney Island down the bay, and the lights of old Broadway. Herald Square, I don't care anywhere,